Hi, Jill.
Hi, Jack. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
How's California?
Going great. Thank you very much. How's it there in Arizona?
It's beautiful, actually. We got really lucky with the weather this time.
Good, I'm glad. Thank you, Timmy, for letting us know you got us. I appreciate that.
Awesome.
So cool. Yeah, it's a gorgeous one of those pinch me sunny pretty days here. So it's really nice.
There's a webcam right down the street in the beach we live in, and I
Oh.
check the weather.
I think I know the one you're talking about. By a certain breakfast place.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. That is awesome. Well,
Well,
welcome everyone.
this is Thursday. Sorry, Jill. Go ahead.
I was in the same thing. Welcome. Glad everybody's here and glad you're doing it great. I mean, you're doing everything right. Chat is all that good stuff. You have a good question, type it up, put it in the Q&A, and Jack and I will answer it. This is your time. Cannot hear Jack very well. Jill is loud and clear.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about when we have probably at the half hour, I'll talk about solar farm viability. I've spent a tremendous amount of time researching this, talked to a lot of people, and it's a very, very real and very profitable possibility for any of us who have any of us who have property that where there's sunshine, which is probably everybody on this call.
Anywhere where there's sunshine?
Yeah,
I
where
love it.
and wind. Wind is good too.
Exactly. Yes, I'm investing in tundra property. There we go. I love it. Cool.
Not to be Captain Obvious here, but somebody pointed out to me recently that
Huh.
solar farms are very can be very profitable for 6 hours, 6 or 8 hours a day, and wind farms are profitable 24 hours a day.
Mm, that's super interesting. Very cool. Wonder why you don't see both. Like have a the tall wind, you know,
Yeah.
with solar panels all around it on the ground,
Yep.
like Palm
Seems like
Springs.
there's one or because if you look at like a wind map of the country,
Hmm.
there's certain parts of the country. It seems to be in the center of the country that it's very windy all the time, and not so windy in Arizona, but very sunny. So,
Hmm.
but the thing is, the subsidies and the grants and the tax credits are fantastic. Even if you just put one windmill, I guess
Hmm.
we are going to talk about it. One windmill on your solar farm, then you can double dip and all that stuff.
Yeah. Well,
Even
hey,
if the solar farm doesn't work, you get the tax credits to offset all the money we're making on real estate. It's a good thing.
well, that's not crazy.
Right.
Love it. Well, Tony's question actually ties into this. Tony wrote, I just purchased a property which is 1 mile from a solar farm.
Uh-huh.
Can I sell it at a higher price?
I
I
think
might
so.
reach out to that owner. Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
reach out to that owner.
say, hey, I know you're in the area and you got it all figured out. Would you like another property? Here's mine.
Or
That's
you can lease it to them. That they love to solar wind people love to lease your
mm,
property.
that's
Talk about
awesome.
$10,000 a month for life, and
Mm-hmm.
solar's not going away.
Yep. That's awesome. Timmy asked, I bought a property in rural Oklahoma that has covenants, only I didn't know it when I bought it. That's okay. We only do that once. Um, I only just by coincidence checked with the county clerk on a suspicion. The county clerk confirmed that there's a 3-page document for the covenant. Question. Should I have known this before I bought it? What step did I overlook in my research? Do I have to check for covenants on all properties I purchase? In the end, is this a bad thing? Or a good thing because the land is worth more? Sorry to ask so many questions. This is good. Hope you can just talk about covenants in general.
Well, Timmy, maybe you can type in here either in the chat box or in the bottom here what the covenants are. Like, does it say it can only be used for the circus once a year? That would be bad. But if
Right.
the covenants,
Say these trees have to stay put
yeah,
because,
right.
oh, he says he doesn't know. I just ordered it. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
exactly right. It just depends. Like you can never build on this because whatever, then that's bad.
You can Jillify this and just turn it into a positive no matter what it says.
Or
Like,
that.
Jill, ready? Let's play a game. Ready?
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Let's say the covenant says you can only use the property for heavy industrial use. How do you spin that positive?
That's the only person I sell it to. I'm going to market it that way.
That's what I mean. All kidding aside, Jill can just make it positive.
Then I wouldn't have it on land and farm necessarily. I'd be reaching out to all the people in the area
Put it on LoopNet
that
then.
that do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. So cool. He said there's a lot of nice houses in the area. I think it's to keep riffraff and trailers out. Yeah, you know what? A covenant could simply be something like it has to be site built where you have to pour a foundation
Right.
because they don't want a lot of like that,
Listen to you, poor
trailers and stuff
foundation.
out there. Thank you.
Listen to you.
You think I've been doing this for a little while? I've not that I haven't come across this, but I sure have. I've had properties that are like that. And then, so some people say, yay, great. I'm not going to have any trailers next to me. And then people go, oh, shoot, darn, I was going to put my RV there for 6 months.
Yeah.
So it's just good to find out what it is. And you can,
Don't
most of
feel.
the time it's not going to be crazy.
I bought a cemetery on accident, so don't feel bad.
Right.
Yeah, you really should try to find out if there's covenants before you buy it, but stuff happens.
And usually a covenant isn't, correct me if I'm wrong, Jack, it's not like it's a county thing that you could have known. So you didn't do anything wrong.
It's hard.
It's not like a zoning thing.
Right.
That's different. This is something like, this is only to be used for the circus once a year because this crazy man had a love for the circus and he wanted to make sure they always had a place to put their tents.
I mean, there's deed restrictions, which you can see, which are really hard to uncover. And then there are also CC&Rs, which are covenants restrictions. I don't know what it stands for. Covenants something restrictions.
Oh, yeah.
Like in a condo complex or a master plan community. That's probably what this is.
Covenants, conditions, and restrictions or something like that. So, but yeah, you know what? And to me, most of the time, this is not, it really does not come up that often. So you did nothing wrong.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's good. Rod said, not a question, but a positive comment.
Yeah.
Oh, I enjoy the easy humor. I love it. And availability of resources with Land Academy. I've been following now for a couple months and loving it. Thanks.
Awesome.
Thank you, Rod. I'm really glad. That's really good to hear. Sometimes we think we're funny. We're not sure we come across funny. So that's good.
I think you're pretty and funny, Jill.
Oh, thank you, Jack. That's very sweet. Okay, so Michael said, hi, Jack and Jill. I have a seller who took title as a single woman 30 years ago in Arizona, community property state. She's now married and has a different married name. How do I write the new deed? Should I include her husband?
Go ahead, Jill.
I wonder how the deed was originally written. I'm going to check on, I'm going to probably check with the county just to see, or maybe even give a quick call to an attorney to see if I'm really not sure. Can I give my real answer first?
I hope you would.
Okay, so that's my legal answer, Michael. My legal answer is do it all right and check with the proper authorities. Now here's my real answer. How long has she been married, and does she still have ID in her maiden name? Because at the end of the day, are we trying to pull a fast one on anybody? No.
That's what I would do, Joe.
Is her husband gonna, they're newly married, maybe they're newlyweds, and he could care less. He's happy to get a check too. Everybody's, all on the same page. So now I'm just trying to get it done as easy as possible. So, and I have done this. I have had people dig up an old ID, like they changed their driver's license, but they hadn't got around to their passport yet. And so I could just do the deed in the maiden name and have it transfer and then be done. So do you have more to add?
No, that's actually, but it sounds like it's 30 years ago. So she might not have that stuff still. So I don't know. And, more and more, Jill and I were talking about this a couple days ago. In fact, we have a show that's coming up. I don't know if it's aired yet or not, that we recorded about all these deed and title issues. And we were working very, very hard with a company called Red Vision to get title mine done. So it only cost you like $100 to get a title policy and have somebody else close the deal for you. So all these deed questions and issues are going to be a thing of the past in the fourth quarter of this year. Where you literally type in some stuff in a form on titlemind.com and somebody closes the deal for you for like $150, I think it is.
Yeah, Michael wrote, so you're right, Michael, she has a marriage certificate she showed me. So that's the thing. She can prove it all, and I get that. The only thing we have to make sure is the county understands and the assessor understands. That's the only person we're trying to please, and make sure they know that the person signing it, even though it says, Carol Smith, it was Carol Jones. What do you need for me to prove that I have the right person and it's all legit?
That's what you get for getting married.
There you go. Did you ask her about a divorce? Just kidding. Tell her to get undivorced. Tell her to get divorced. Sell the property, and then sell it again. The county does. Well, no, they will record anything, but it's when they get to the assessor could have a problem with it. That's the thing.
That's kind of a myth, by the way, that the county. My attorney used to say the county will record toilet paper, and more and more that's just not the case. They try to find the problems up front because eventually the assessor will kick your butt. Yeah.
Right, which is good. But yeah, technically, they're supposed to record what you hand them. So
I had a county one time refuse to record a deed that had like 800 properties on it. To this day, it is unrecorded because they didn't. I was an evil yuppie from Scottsdale, and it was a different state, and they all got together and said,
"We don't like you.
We don't like you, and we're not recording the deed." And to this day, I ate it. I ate the acquisition price on that.
Got it. I like Luke Smith's idea. Here's a little nice workaround. Maybe we can have a witness for the notary, instead of having to show the ID, and the witness can say, "Yeah, I remember her when she was, Carol Jones." We'll just do it as Carol Jones and be on our merry way.
Yeah.
That's a good workaround. I really
Luke
like
workaround
that.
Smith. I like it.
That's it. Because the bottom, I come down to this: if no one's trying to do anything out of bounds, so how easily can we just get it done?
Yeah.
So that's good. All right, Albert. Okay. Albert says, "Hello, Jill and Jack. Question: I want to purchase a property from a man who lost his wife, and they have title as joint tenants. I called the county, and they said I first must file an affidavit of death of joint tenant with the original death certificate. Do you have a copy of that, or that I can copy? The state is Utah. Most states are right online. You can get it on the county site.
Yeah.
So that's.
Or if not, look at, if there's a Utah, there's usually like a state-specific title company, like Utah Title and Trust or something. They'll have it on there too.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. Like First American Title Utah will have a lot of their blank forms online that everybody can access.
Right.
So very good question. Okay. Steve asked, tax sale list has many counties with no data for my research, or a number like one property delinquent, and I'm trying to make sense of that or find an alternative source of that type of data. Was wondering if doing a county search in RealQuest and adding the lien option would get similar data. Also, I need to find out where to get templates for the PSA and cover letter from the training video.
So
I can help with
go ahead,
question
Jill.
2.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'll get question 2. You get question 1.
Question 1 is what's a tax sale list alternative, and I'll put it on the screen. If you go to Land Academy, this is for anybody, not just members, and you go to resources right here, and you go to research, back tax lists. What I did was make a table that's like 27,000 lines long, so it takes a minute to load. But I essentially just copied and pasted from taxsellists.com, I think. I don't know. It's a bunch of sources. And then keyword search for the county that you're looking for, state county. You'll see how many of these, historical parcels there have been over the years. Like if you go to, I don't know, Arkansas, Arkansas County, Arkansas, you can see multiple years. And then, it's self-explanatory. So go ahead, Joe.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and parcel 2 is, I know we're working on getting those forms available to download off the website, but you can get a copy of it. I just gave one to Audrey that I pulled up. So
Audrey, who works with us, Audrey.
Yes, Audrey, who works for us, Audrey. So if you, Steve, and anybody is new and not having that online, if you email support@landacademy.com and request that, she'll share it with you. And
by the way,
up there,
I just had a meeting with Letterstream, and they, the template, the content of the template has not changed, but the formatting has, and they have. I'll have the guy Chris there who does everybody's stuff right now. Jill, I'll have him get it to Audrey and we'll put it on our website so you can pull it right off of there.
That's what we want. Cool. I went and found one of our old ones and just said, here you go.
Yeah.
So it's a workaround for now. Copy this.
Offers to owners is going to be released here really soon, probably June 1. And while everybody gets it, that's a member, it's going to make your life incredibly much easier and make these mailers much easier. Jill and I are hiring, on Monday, right? A dedicated person to do your mailer for you on the phone with an 800 number and everything. So
exactly.
It's all good.
It's going to be awesome. Yeah, and so I know that, you know what you could do, Tony, using the Deed Perfect for California. I know Deed Perfect, we created Deed Perfect. It's a great, great tool. It gets you started but it doesn't always cover every possible scenario right now. So what you could do is put both names in so it spits out the deed you want and just create a separate signature page and attach your own signature
like in Word, Jill, that's brilliant.
Yeah, just copy it and text your own one, and at least you didn't have to do retype the whole thing. So that's an easy workaround for right now. So we'll get to that, but I'll tell you, Tony, with engineering is trumping upping Deed Perfect, adding things to Deed Perfect right now. So that's why everybody needs more help with the finding the property and that kind of stuff. But we will circle back around. So thank you. All right. We Buy Land asks, I like that. We Buy Land Co. I am buying my first property ever, and I'm purchasing title insurance, and the company's in the process of doing title research. Should I drop the deed in the meantime, or should I wait in case there are major problems with the property?
You should wait, and that's what you're paying them for. That's just come up a lot recently. You never want to do like half the deal. It's either you're going to do the deal with a notary, or the title person is going to do the deal, and they're going to do it from start to finish. If it's a smoking deal, and you are going to get title insurance, but you just want to close the deal really fast before they change their mind. I've done this too, where we do a notary close and then we send it all over to title, and they just close it the regular way and they take their time.
Love it.
You probably just confuse the heck out of them.
No, but you're right. Instead of them doing half of it and you doing the property transfer, make it all or nothing. It'll make your life much easier. That's kind of it. All right.
Well, no, I mean, this person said, yeah, you did confuse me. Here's the thing.
Oh, okay.
You want to do a whole deal. You either have title do all of it from start to finish. You don't do a deed or anything, or you do it from start to finish. There are a few cases where the deal is so good that you do it from start to finish, and then you turn it over to title, and then they issue a title insurance policy on it.
That's more often what I've done, because if my buyer really wants title insurance, I tell them, this will answer your question here too. That's right, because it is costly. I say, look, here's the deal. Part of why this is so cheap is because it doesn't include that. You are welcome to go get it on your own, and it'll cost you X amount, or they'll figure it out. Or heck, I'll raise $1,000 because the whole thing runs $750 or who knows, whatever it is. We could up the price and I'll do the whole thing for you. You pick.
I had a deal review with somebody yesterday, and they said, we were looking at the properties that he's thinking about buying, and there was one property in there where I just fell out of my chair. I said, you guys need to close this deal right now. If it's truly this much money, because there's like $150,000 piece of property that they're buying for like $1,200. So what I told them is what I'll tell you. They went, and they were local, so they met in a coffee shop and did the deed right there and handed them the money. And so they own it and went and got it recorded. And then they made sure that the seller was available for the next 30 days so that they then could close it through title to get a title insurance policy. Sometimes deals are that good.
Good. Okay, cool. Trying to should I go all in with a title company? Depending on the money. So usually that's the way I'm is it more than 5,000 or less than 5,000? I mean, what's your margin? I guess
mine.
No, I'm asking We Buy Land.
Everybody's different. Like Luke never sells it. Never does title on anything.
Right. So it depends on the comfort and how much money and all that good stuff. If it's a $10,000 property, okay, plan to sell for $7,500.
I would.
All right. Then I would
get title on that personally, but yeah.
Yeah, I think we have enough margin in there. Let's look at this. Let's talk about this, everyone. Remember the whole double our money thing? So 1,300 times 2 is 2,600. Okay, we got still got a little wiggle room here. So yes, this is real. Thank you. Thank you. All right. It's my first deal. I think you're doing very well. Nice job right out of the gate. That's all. That is awesome. Okay, good job. All right, Kathleen asked, a while back, I seem to recall the mention of a possible Land Academy product under development that would connect members with
Yeah,
attorneys. Yes,
we're
this is
working
still
on
in the
that.
works. Yeah, so that is definitely in the works. Okay. Kelly asks, is there a training available on, this is my area. Is there a training session available on answering phone calls? I'm having a hard time. Oh, no. Oh, Kelly, we're not
With the
laughing at you. We're
hate. No,
laughing with
no.
you. I'm
Yeah.
totally laughing with you. And it is hard in the beginning, and I can help you with this. I'm having a hard time with the mean mad calls. I received 2 or 3. I received weeks 2 through 3. The ones Steve wouldn't answer for the first 2 weeks. They are lamed. They are aimed at the low offers from Tim, and I'm the Jill of the team. Yep. Congratulations, Kelly. And who's supposed to diffuse them? Isn't this great? Yeah, he gets to send these crazy offers, and you get to field the calls. Love it. It usually works, but sometimes they still attack me. I'd love some training or tips on how I handled this for so long without turning her into a mean person.
Here's some free training.
Drink heavily. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Well, you should be doing that anyway.
That's right. Tim, by the way, needs to be rewarding you here. Number one, go ahead.
Joe Live will be released here in a few days. I'm not saying. Well, let's just say 30 days. What do you say, Joe?
Yeah, that's a good guess.
Is 30 reasonable? I don't want to step on your toes.
30 is reasonable, yes.
Before there's nothing stopping you from getting immediately hiring Pat Live just using them for a month, because you're still going to have to do the same. You're going to have to write the scripts and use the scripts with Joe Live anyway. But I'm recommending this to everybody, not just you, Kelly. Don't answer your phone. Have somebody else answer it. It really, even me, it wears on me after a while when people are calling you, yelling at you. So just remove that. When you get that first report from Joe Live that says these 16 people really want to sell their property, give them a call back, and these 80 people had called you and your mother some really bad names, then you laugh about it and you call the 16 back and do some deals. It really is a massive time saver, and you don't have to get a haircut as often.
That is really a good use of your time, Kelly, because even if you're not fielding the hate, you could let somebody else field these calls, and then you're still going to be calling back the ones that are legitimate and still fielding those to get more information and make sure if you really want to do the deal and all that good stuff before you guys pull the trigger. So,
Pay somebody $100-$150 a month to just answer the phone completely. Because I'll tell you, it's going to, when people answer the phone live, it will dramatically increase the number of successful transactions that you do. People just don't want to leave messages for some reason.
Yeah. Now, David's had good luck, though. See, David said I let him go to voicemail. He doesn't think he's lost anything, so that's David's experience.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
I'm a fan of the live. I'm a fan of having a body.
I'm a huge fan of someone answering the phone for sure.
Just because some of these people are, they're elderly and they're afraid of answering machines sometimes. They don't even understand it.
A lot of these people are skeptical anyway. And when there's just an answering machine or there's a lot of clicking and clicking over, they just wonder what's going on.
Yeah. So this is good. But I'm sure you're doing everything right, Kelly.
So having somebody answer your phone and having a really inexpensive but efficient title company, that's going to reduce your day in half, I think, Joe. Those two things are huge.
Well, you know what? That's true. That's a good point, Kelly. And Tim, that how much time are you spending on these wasted calls? That could justify it right there. If you find, great, that's 8 hours this week I could have spent on other things instead of getting yelled at and smoothing it over, and then that for me would help me budget too, saying, hey, babe, we can afford this because I could have spent that 8 hours helping you with X. Like, yep, done. So
yeah,
Thank you, Jack. That's a good point.
Or you could use the time to like make out with your spouse.
Or drink more.
What is it with drinking today?
I'm just kidding. All right, I'll tell you why. Because you know what, you guys, I think everybody here knows I am still on the mend from a surgery that I had done, and everything is cool, but I'm finally starting to feel like myself again, and now I want to go out. So
Damn it. I wish I was there.
I know. So that's what's going on. I've missed being out and hanging out with my pals, so that's obviously on my mind. So anyway, it's silly. All right, David said, on seller finance deals, should we be filing the promissory note with the county?
It depends on the state. Colorado makes you do it. Although people don't do it, so it's all up to you. It's a personal preference. It's is driving 65 in a 55 mile an hour zone breaking the law? People have different opinions about that. Technically, yes, it is, but not everybody does it anyway. So that's up to you. But check your state statutes. Sometimes it's statutory. Sometimes it's just it's a cultural thing.
Would you even consider this, Jack? Would you consider waiting 6 months before we just go, see if the guy's really going to follow through and make a bunch of payments before even go that far? Okay, thank you.
That's the difference between a deed of trust and just a land contract. Land contract is just an agreement. That's what's in the back of the package, what we use. Mm-hmm. It's just an agreement between two people. A land contract is recorded, you get the title to the property. The title goes over into the person's name at the end of the agreement. At the end of the however many years you pay. So they're two completely different financial instruments, and they're really worth looking into, like the definitions and stuff.
Jessica asks, at what point in our land career should we find an attorney? Should it be a real estate specific attorney, and what should we be planning on spending for this service? I'd say find one when you need one.
No, I think you should sit down with an attorney after deal number 10.
Think so? Okay.
Yeah, Jill, we're really lucky because our attorney is one of our real close personal friends.
Okay.
So, we use him and don't get charged a lot more than I think, Jill, that Like anytime there's an issue, I call him anyway just to horse around, but I think it's good.
I guess because I've always had him, I never really think about it. So okay. Good advice. So basically you're just saying for Jessica and everybody else, I mean, after you're in this and this is going to be your business for a while.
Yeah, after that's right.
Then start reaching out to people and saying, laying a foundation that should I ever need an attorney, who will be my person? So, and develop a relationship. So
yeah, they're going to be in your life forever, probably.
Exactly. Cool. They'll probably do. Yeah, you know what? Because the right guy, at this point too, they can. Although you can do a lot of your LLCs and stuff on your own, but they can help with that stuff. And
I just did another company. It cost $120, and I did it in 2 days in Arizona. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's how easy and fast, and I never left my computer. It was all in one sitting in like 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this is funny. Jermaine said, hi, Jack and Jill. We recorded a deed yesterday, and the county called us back and said we have to be an attorney to prepare a deed.
What state is that in?
I'm going to say this.
I'd like to know if you can type in what state, either below here or in the chat or whatever.
I'm assuming because we prepared the deed for the seller, but we have done this for all our properties.
You got a rogue recorder is what happened.
That's what I think. Do we suppose to have our name on this or the seller name as a preparer? What is the best practice? I've never had anybody say this to me, which is funny. I am curious what state. If you want to put it in the chat, Jermaine.
We'll come back to it.
Okay. All right. Oh, Virginia.
Yeah, you got a rogue recorder.
Yeah.
Because I'm never heard that, I think there's only 1 or 2 states that have mandatory. I don't even think there's any mandatory states. I think they all just heavily suggest it.
Mm-hmm. That's
I bought a property early in my career from another person that was in the business, and the guy literally, it was on a yellow piece of paper, like a yellow pad, and it was all handwritten, and I got it recorded.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. David is saying early calls from a recent 5,000. Wow. 5,000 piece mailer. starting to come in. I'm loving the hate.
Good.
Wow.
5,000 units,
That's
David?
what I said.
Dude,
Wow.
you're going to be busy all year with that.
Yeah, that's it. There
He's
you
not
go.
horsing around. He's pulling stops out.
Man. Whew. All right. Luke said, what's the plan with your new land split website? Are you going to lay out the basics of where we can split land and how to?
Yes.
Some of the states like Wyoming just seem like creating anything below 80 acres or more than 10 80-acre ones is off limits without being local, doing meetings and winning the locals over. We had that kind of info all over. We can get right into it a lot faster.
Yes, Luke, that's the whole plan. In fact, I'm going to write a book, and you're going to literally be able to go on a website, click on the state, click on the county, and we will have the basic rules there. We have an overseas army of people that are doing all the research right now.
Cool.
No, there's no book on the planet like this, by the way.
Cool. This is good.
Jill probably didn't even know that.
That there's no book on this?
No, that I'm actually doing that right now with parcelsplit.com.
I think I heard something somewhere, but yes. I'm glad that I didn't know how far along you were, so that's cool. All right, Steve said, I got the download link from Audrey, but they were not the same as the training video. There were contracts, but no cover letter or a one-page. Now, because I just sent something to Audrey. Oh, okay. You know what, Steve? It's coming because I sent something Audrey in the last 2 hours. So this is Steve with the first letter, last name K, I'm sure. And so, yeah, she's going to send something. I also meant back tax list earlier is not having, many of the counties are having very low numbers.
Yeah.
How can a county have only one delinquent property? For properties delinquent, which makes me wonder, I can use that number to evaluate, if I can use that number to evaluate a county.
It's just a gauge. We mail, depending on what we're doing at the time, we mail counties that have no back tax properties at all. Like, look at Idaho. There's no back tax properties there for some reason. Utah has very, very low back tax numbers, but a lot of us do really well there. So it's just a gauge.
Mm-hmm.
Jill, could you have Audrey reach out to Chris at Letterstream and get that document?
All right. Well, okay. Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay.
Okay. Audrey, to get the one that they have of our template.
Because that's a real one. And what I'll do is I'll put it on below the documents on the cash flow from land.
That's where we want it. Thank you. All right. David said, can Jill Live answer sales calls? Yes. If so, are they scripted for selling on the phone? Then they could also reply online to email inquiries.
May I, Jill?
Do you
this?
know the answer to the second part?
Go ahead.
Do you know?
I do, but go ahead.
If you know, go ahead and let's see what you think is going on.
Yeah, let's see if I'm right.
Okay.
Jill Live is it's based off Pat Live, but it's way more industry specific, and it's designed to answer your phone, not just designed for one thing. So if somebody's calling and they want to buy a piece of property, that our people will be trained completely on selling your property for you.
You could even weed out, David. You could say, all right, any hate call, obviously, I mean, those just, those are null. We don't do anything with those. The people calling in to have properties that they want to sell me, here's what I want, the information I want you to capture, and I want it delivered to me daily, weekly, whatever it is, every Wednesday at 10 a.m., dream it up, and I want it on a spreadsheet. And for anybody who's calling because they want to buy a property, I want those transferred to me immediately at this number. Dream it up. You could do all those different things.
Yeah.
So doing online email inquiries, not an option yet. So, and I'd have to really look at that because it could be a gamut of email, unless you're going to set up a separate email address for only, possibly. Like if you had a form on your website, we could probably do this. If you have a form on your website where people want to sell, instead of calling you, they just go online and reply, and you want that forwarded to them, and they could incorporate that into the email of all the, potential sellers. That's a possibility. But the first things will be ready to go out of the gate. So Anything you want to add, Jack?
No, that's good.
Okay, cool.
I know you have a complete handle on that.
Yes. Yeah, and you could change it up. I mean, you're like, this is not working out. I'm gonna try answering these calls and forwarding those here, whatever. Just change it up. It's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we said like incoming email from Landwatch and Land and Farm,
Yeah.
etc.
The answer is
So
yes.
yeah, as far as email, not yet. None of the emails set up yet, but phone calls for those things all day long. So okay. What was Joel asked, what's the everything about the solar wind farm viability?
Oh, so go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, you want to do it now?
Yeah, now's a good time.
Okay.
So it turns out that the federal government will give you a 30% tax credit on the equipment and install on a solar farm. So if your land company makes 100 grand has $100,000 worth of taxable income, and you put a $300,000 solar farm in, you pay zero taxes. So even if the solar farm is not connected into the power company, I would heavily encourage you to look into this. Most states have 20% to 30% tax credit programs also. So I'll tell you right now, Jill and I next year won't be paying any taxes because we are going to do this. If you're lucky enough to be in an area where you have property where you can, aggregate net meter back into the power company, they'll literally buy the electricity from you. And sometimes, like in California's case, at rates that are, retail rates, for 12 to 14 cents a megawatt. So, it is very, very viable to put in a solar/wind farm and not only have it be profitable, but there's some huge tax credits are the best thing that ever. It's a direct offset on the taxable income tax that you have to pay. There's a huge depreciation. I don't want to have an accounting lesson here, but there's a massive, you can accelerate depreciation for 7 years on all the equipment, which is even better. So massive. I'll put a summary sheet together, and Joe will probably maybe put it in the next newsletter, Joe, if that's all right.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good. Cool. What did Jessica said too about zoning? Do we know any for solar?
Yeah. So like everywhere, it all has to do with the taxing authority, or usually the county. Certain zoning restrictions. It might need a special use zoning scenario, or maybe it's just commercial, or maybe it's agriculture. A lot of farmers have solar farms. They power their farms, and then they net meter back and sell electricity to the power company. So I'm pretty sure they have a zoning variance for that. So it's just like anything, you got to check it's different everywhere. You have to call and check.
Jessica was also adding, is there a certain size property that is best fit for this?
No, in fact, the technology, somebody just at MIT, they had a solar farm in the size of your palm of your hand with mirrors and stuff. So the technology is growing by leaps and bounds, just almost every day, like battery technology. So no, I mean, the one that Jill and I are probably going to do is 40 acres. And that's probably really large for what we want to do with it. So we're going to do it in stages.
Curious said, this is a good, when she was in Boone County. Are you done with your, I'm sorry, I'll jump back into the questions. Okay, cool. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Curia was saying that in Arkansas, they had one return a deed made a right on it, prepared by. It's like, I always comply. Now and then you'll find those things, and it could just be that recorder. And like, okay, fine, I'll run it. And you know what I'll do too? I hope you did this, Curia. You don't have to redo the whole deed and send it out to the guy. You can line it up, like print it on a just separate piece of paper and line it up with the light, and then run that paper through so it only adds those lines on it. Or it's maybe you may have been able to even write on there, handwrite, deed prepared by, and then have a nice day,
Yeah.
All right. This is funny too. Albert said, I had a possible buyer who called the city and asked if I had a business license. The city called me and asked me if I had a license. I worked my way around. And to say the least, however, do you need a business license to run this business? I'm an investor. I'm buying my own properties.
You get a business license when you have to pay sales tax. That's how I interpret that. We don't pay sales tax, but sales tax has nothing to do with real estate. So there's your answer. There, that's my opinion anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard this over the years. People say that.
Isn't that funny? It's like, okay, like those guys flipping houses and they're making money. I don't think they can run around necessarily. Or what if I bought cars? We know people that bought cars, fixed them up and sold them and made money.
Mm-hmm.
It's like making everybody who does anything. I don't know. But
Brandon has a question in the chat that I'm going to read, Jill, all right?
oh yeah, go ahead.
In RealQuest, and he answered his own question, but I think it'll benefit everybody. In RealQuest, when I'm building a list,
Oh yeah.
I'm only seeing 1,000 records. You know, how do I get access to records to download? Go ahead, Joe.
Well, to all the records to download, every single person, this is good. So anyone who's new who's on this call,
Yeah.
when you first get your login credentials for RealQuest Pro, to keep you from accidentally downloading a ton of records at 8 cents a pop, you're capped at 1,000, so you don't accidentally run up a big bill. You have to manually, and it's in the FAQ on their website. It shows you and tells you how to go in and manually change it, which you can do. We don't do, and you don't even have to call RealQuest. You go into your settings and stuff, and you'll see it'll have 1,000, and I think you can switch it to 25,000.
Yeah,
And that's a
max is at
month.
25,000.
And so you can go in and switch it for yourself, and then make it whatever you want. So that's why. Good question. Okay, so Jessica asked, can you walk through the steps to posting on Facebook from Landpin? Using the Facebook link at the bottom, is it best to post to our page or elsewhere?
Both.
Yeah.
Here, watch. Watch your screen, please. You can do this with your own property. You can do it with other people's property. It only benefits you. The more people that you're driving traffic to your stuff on Landpin, the better. So all you have to do is you hit that. It pulls Facebook up. It's got this and the whole thing. You might want to put, you know, the price in here. Like, check out my property. It's only, in this case, it's Tim's property, $7,000. And then see down here, I can send it to the public. I can send it to my friends. I can send it to, you know, depending on what your iOS is, your operating system, you can post it to a specific group. You can do it with Twitter. Like, I can post it to a group right here.
There you go.
And I'll post it to Land Motivation. This is an extremely effective way to sell real estate. You know, these groups, go in and make sure you're a member of all. There's hundreds and hundreds of real specific land buying and selling and wholesaling groups in Facebook. People are looking for these deals.
Can I give you a tip too, Jessica? What I do, you can go in Facebook and see how many members are in the groups, and I hit the heavy hitters ones because there's groups in there with like 80,000 members.
Yeah,
and they're a real estate group.
Yeah, exactly, Jill. I added it up between Jill and I in our pages. I mean, we reached like 2.5 million people.
Mm-hmm. And you can do that in minutes.
Yeah, and then you can obviously do the same thing with Twitter and LinkedIn and the whole thing. Mm-hmm. There's nothing like Facebook, by the way. If you have to do one, just do Facebook.
Right, and it's already linked to like Instagram and stuff like that too. So
right.
This is good. Thanks, Kathleen.
Yeah, thank you.
She has said, you know, even in these attorney states, she says, I've called a specific county recorder and asked about this, the requirement for an attorney close, and they said no. So definitely check with the county because technically you might not have to be an attorney. So,
I mean, Michael says Massachusetts is an attorney state here in the chat, but I honestly don't. It's like, it's you know, through the grapevine, we all think it's an attorney state, but I really don't think there's a mandatory attorney state.
mm-hmm. Steve asked, I was wondering about the document you mentioned from Letterstein as I had some questions. Okay. Um, so we answered part of that. I set up an account with them. They were very helpful with a good service, but ended up having some conflicting information on the type of mailing services. Oh, okay. I think I remember this. I think I saw something on this, Steve. I think he was wondering how we are getting 49 cents because you wanted first class and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
that's the difference.
Office
And
to
if you
owners is going to clear all that up.
right. So if you're calling them, Steve, what they tell you is the 49 cent. You get, I know it's, 2 pages, folded, window envelope. They'll
Yeah.
steer you to the right product at the right price. And we honestly have not seen a huge difference in changing that up or any difference really. Have you, Jack?
I mean, we got to this point by trying a lot of things. And for us, the windowed envelope, not first class, dual page, that's all, even now when we do a mailer, I still change a few little tiny things based on the last response. So I wouldn't personally mess with it. I asked somebody on a call, on a data review call yesterday, who's just knocking it out of the park. They're brand new. They sent their first mailer out and they have like 22 properties that they're going to buy. And I said, what the hell? I mean, what is it about you that you think is so different between, you and some people who are not killing it? They're just doing average. And he said, I followed chapter 5 and everything that you said to do to the letter in the cash flow from land program, which I kind of patted myself on the back. And he said, no, I'm going to change up a few things, but that's really the reason. I did not get creative at all on the first mailer.
Mm-hmm.
And I would really, really recommend that for everybody.
You don't need to spend the extra money unless you're, I mean, I don't, why would you spend the extra money? It's not going to change anything.
Might get there faster, but Letterstream, man, they're pretty fast. They're only limited. They get it out that day. They're only limited by the U.S. Postal Service. So that's my opinion.
Exactly. Cool. All right. Simple file. Where will that come under? Is that going to be a gold item? Michael's
No,
asking
no,
about.
no, no. It'll be silver.
Oh,
I have a call into them.
okay.
I'm going to work with Luke on that because Luke's got a great rate.
Yes. Good question. Well, shucks.
What do
Are
you
we
want
out
to
of
talk about,
questions?
Jill?
Oh, gosh. Like, wait, we're out of questions. Okay, Albert said, sorry, my phone died. I missed the answer to my question. Do I need to have a business license? Want to circle back around, Jack, on that one?
Business licenses, in my opinion, are directly tied for if you need to collect sales tax. All of us in the land business, sales tax, thank God, doesn't apply to us. So that's my opinion. Now, I don't know what your jurisdiction is or what state, or maybe they think you do.
Thank you.
That's a radar that I preferred to stay off of that radar.
Well, you know what the bigger picture is? All this is a result of somebody calling somebody to see if he's legit.
Yeah.
And so that's probably not a real buyer. I mean, it's probably not, I don't know. Is it a tire kicker just kind of has a lot of spare time? So,
Yeah.
because I've had those. I've had people that I'm like, oh no, this guy's calling me back again. And then you know what I mean? He's asking about the zoning and then he's asking about this. And they'll say like, well, now I figured all this out. Do you really think they mean 6 months when they say RV? If I'm there for 6 months and a week, are they going to kick me off? And I'm like, are you really asking me this question? Because we've had those. And I'm like, oh no. And then, it's a tough one, but you have to kind of wean them. I pretty much have told people, I don't think this is right for you, as a buyer. I don't think this is the right property. I really urge you to spend some more time. Why don't you go spend some time in the area? Just come up with something to get them off the phone and get them out of your world, kind of thing. So it sounds like it's a little bit of that going on. So
Whoever American Land and Lot is here on the screen, you get an A+ and a star on your forehead for maybe the best presentation of land I've ever seen. Look at this property in North Carolina, Joe.
mm-hmm.
For $5,000.
It's gorgeous.
And the way that this is all put together is perfect. Really tastefully done.
I love it.
Anyway,
I
go
love
ahead.
it. Cool. Okay. Kathleen said, getting back to the solar and wind farm thing, whom would be the best folks to connect with to pursue something like this?
There's an organization. I'm sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Oh, she's saying, should we just search for solar farms in our county and state?
Yeah, there's a tremendous amount of, because it's so government funded, there's a tremendous amount of resources all over the place. SEIA.org, this company is kind of, they have a national thing that Jill and I are going to go to in Las Vegas a few months from now. They seem to have a tremendous amount of information. There's also, if you look up net metering, which is really like hooking up to the grid and then pouring electricity back into the grid and getting a check. Instead of writing a check, you get a check from your local power company. If you specifically Google that with solar power, there's a ton of resources out there because the government is very involved in this and very pro. They want to pay you. They want coal to stop like everybody.
Cool. All right. David said, I have a seller who, along with her husband, are named as trustees on the deed. I have a copy of the deed. However, her husband is deceased and they cannot find a copy of the trust. Wait, throw in there that's really behind on taxes too. Throw that in there. Am I safe to assume that the only remaining trustee will be okay to sign?
Yeah.
Paying $1,000, property worth $4,000 to $5,000 cash. Well, the good news is you only paid $1,000 for it. If it all went sideways, I know you can cover that, David.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, you know what? You're only looking for that trust document and all that stuff to satisfy yourself. You're not doing it really for the recorder. So, you've done enough deals, David. If you're comfortable with it, I would just roll with it. Wouldn't you, Jill?
Mm-hmm. I would. This is a great question, Luke. Jack and I have talked about this a lot, and I'm usually right. Which is, do you notice any seasonality to this business? Should we consider for the upcoming summer?
Oh, summer's not slow.
Yeah.
We both agree on that, right, Jill?
Uh-huh. What this the discussion we have had over and over and over again, Luke, is the holidays.
It's holidays,
And
yeah.
hold on.
I think it stops during the holidays. Jill thinks it's
Mm-mm.
yippee-ki-yay.
I think it's yippee-ki-yay. So because once the gifts are open, there's nothing else to do. Seriously. Have I had people reach out to me and about buying properties on like the day after Christmas because everything's over and they just don't want to hang out with the family? Heck yeah. So yeah, I with the internet and everything now, I don't see anything. Nothing, no real slow time.
Yeah.
In my previous deed question, Michael said, you recommend that I call an attorney. What do you think it's going to cost? Will the title company be able to tell me?
Yeah. The title company will be able to tell you.
Can they even they could probably recommend somebody too, or the county can.
The county would for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The county likes to give two names so they don't get in trouble.
Right.
I've noticed.
Exactly. Oh, good. Joel said he paid $400 for his attorney, so there you go. I try to pick, and if they don't have one, I just try to find the closest county. Like I'll map. I have mapped looking for attorneys that are really close to the courthouse.
Sometimes they're right in the county building themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That guy knows everybody. That's who we hire.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. David said the solar tax credits are drying up. He said, my nephew has been in the business and doing solar for years. It's become dry. So now he's doing pest control?
What?
What?
I don't know, man.
Well,
that's not what I'm hearing.
That's very interesting. Well, you know what? Okay, so here's the big picture. The reason we're looking at this, David, is because I hope it's okay if I share this, Jack.
Absolutely.
In Jack's research, he has found that a lot of the issues that people have with doing solar and things like this is because they don't know how to buy the land to do it.
The real cost in solar and the the barrier to entry in the solar business is real estate. And we don't have that problem. We're in a huge position in a very positive spot for solar and wind. That's why farmers almost always, well, smart ones anyway, have some version, or, if they have real estate that they're not using, they put solar on it because it's maintenance free, and not maintenance free, but you don't have to pay it. You just install it and you don't really just forget about it.
Mhm.
And the land's already paid for them.
He said, what about when the land's not close to the grid? Do they
That's a
do they
problem.
help with any of those costs?
No,
Okay.
not that I'm aware of. I thought that they would, but they don't bring electricity to so what you need to do is, how we're doing it now is, instead of trying to make it fit for a property that you already own, do a tremendous amount of research about where a very solar friendly county might be. California and Texas are very friendly solar states and wind states. And then make sure you buy a piece of property that is got electric to the lot line, which is not hard to do in like San Bernardino County and Kern County at all. And they love solar farms there.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, here we are.
This is the first time this is ever. Oh, here's a question.
I know.
This is the
Okay.
first time ever.
Good. Thank you, Lainey. Oh, good. We got some more here. Good. Okay. So Lainey asks, I'm still in the learning stages. I haven't bought or sold anything yet. I made a custom search to save from RealQuest that I've been using to scout out counties. I went to look up a county. I looked a few weeks ago and now there's nothing listed. I tried again with a different county in that state and still no properties. You're accidentally are checking the wrong box. How are there no 1 to 5 acre properties in the whole state?
Something's wrong.
Yeah, you've got some box checked that you need to go back through and come at it all over again.
And yes, call RealQuest. They'll help you.
Yeah, I never changed my initial search parameters on the video. Do I call RealQuest? They will absolutely walk you through and go, did you check this or what? So yeah, you're right. It's just something's checked. So Amy said, would offers to owners be 49 cents? No.
Would it be 49 cents plus 49 cents for a total of 98 cents? No, it's just 49 cents. And we hold your hand through the whole process.
Well, hold on a moment. There's going to be different levels of products for offer to owners. That will be more than 49 cents depending on who you are. Just
the one that we all send out now is 49 cents.
Right.
We will now be able to do follow-up postcards and just about anything you can imagine.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Thank you, Samsung SMG955U.
I think that's Michelle.
It's Dan. No, it's Dan Wyman. Oh. I'm being silly. He said, thank you both for all the effort you put into everything. When do you sleep? That's a good question. Man. I love it.
I agree with that.
What do you think about the National Online Legal Services?
I think, we're going to do it on behalf of everybody here soon. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
It's something I really overlooked, quite honestly, because we're so far in our career that we don't seek a lot of legal advice when it comes to regular, like deed type stuff. We only seek legal, big picture legal advice, like, do I have too many LLCs, or I think this guy's going to sue me, what should I do? That kind of stuff. And those legal services aren't going to help you with that. They're just going to help you with, should I do a land contract, or should I do, a deed of trust? Which is good. When you're new, you need to know that stuff for sure.
Exactly. Jessica said, I had asked this in success plan, and Kevin answered it, but checking with others, how long does it typically take to see? I know it depends on many things, but what should we expect? Still working on getting our name out there. I'm not sure what this is tied to.
To see what? Oh, sell. How long does it take to sell?
Okay, got it.
It's all about the effort that you put into it.
Mm-hmm.
We just went through that Facebook exercise. I would be shocked. I know Kyria does this all the time. One of our members, Kyria. In fact, she was on the show. Go back and look at the interview that we did with Kyria and her husband Rowdy, and they have some very creative. They're batting 1,000 with these creative methods. Kyria, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're knocking it out of the park with these creative Facebook ways to sell property.
Mm-hmm.
So should it take you long to sell property if it's properly priced and you've got it and you're posting it everywhere, Land and Farm and all of it? I think it should take you 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Yep.
had exactly one. I do 4 or 5 deal review and data review calls every single Wednesday, and I've been doing it for almost a year. I've had exactly one phone call where someone was having problems with selling property, and it was all due to lack of quality pictures and lack of posting it on every corner of the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And then that rectified it. So
Bingo. And you know what? If you do all those things, Jessica, like Jack's saying, you follow all the steps, you put it 12 places, and it's priced right, and your postings, make sense, and you have the right photos and everything, like the one Jack was showing us too. Sit tight, because we've all been there. And it's funny, we haven't had this come up in a while, and I'm glad you're bringing this up, because I remember, I don't know, 6-8 months ago on this call, we had a guy going, what's going on? And then the very next week he goes, oh man, I spoke too soon, because like the day after the call he sold it, and then for the 3 days following it, more people were calling.
yeah,
And he's like, I could have got a higher price. We're like, okay, hold on. No, it's okay. And it was just so funny. He's like, yeah, you know what? I just had to be patient. We're like, yes, you do.
yeah.
And then it'll happen. So it's all good. But you know what? Thank you, Jessica, for leaning on your peers and reaching out to your friends. And I have seen this, I haven't seen it in a while in Success Plant, but I have seen people share on there like, hey guys, here's a link to my website. I remember this one in particular. Here's a link to my website. I just did this posting. You guys mind eyeballing it and see what you think? And it was so great. And everybody went on and said, yeah, here's what we think. And what was so funny was the guy forgot to put his phone number. And everybody's like, you might want to add your phone number there. He's like, oh my gosh. So it's really good to have another pair of eyes
Right.
and your peers weigh in on this stuff. So I would highly recommend that, Jessica. And I'm glad that you put it in Success Plan. So thank you. Yeah, Lainey said the other one's so it's just one state. So there's something funky going on. So that's good if you reach out, Lainey, to RailQuest. Oh, Kevin even said something with Lainey's question. That happened to be in Socorro County, New Mexico. I had 1,600 over 5-acre properties, download the data, had some second thoughts, went back to check the data, and there were only about 160. A few days later, I tried the exact same search again. There were 1,600 again, and a few days later, it was gone. I called and they couldn't answer my questions, so it happens.
You know what I think?
Mm-hmm.
That every county is updated certain different ways. Some of it's electronic, some of it's literally manually typed in. And I think that's what happened. I don't think they have like a staging site or anything.
Maybe it was in the middle of some updates.
Yes. That's a smart, short way to say what I just said.
Yeah.
That's another set of mouths, another set of eyes, Jill. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm sorry. I was just reiterating for myself. Thank you very much. I wasn't trying to take anything away from you. Listen. All right. It's 4:00 on Thursday. Who was it? Was it David that we usually have a beer in his hand by now?
I don't know, this is the third time Jill's brought up alcohol. So
I
really wish I was there to take advantage of you.
I mean, take me out. Thank you. Take advantage of this. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, Kevin. Just finished my beer. I love it.
Nice. It's me too. No.
No, but I have some in the fridge. I might go have one right now. I think all the filters fall off your search if you take too long. That could be too
Oh, if you actually just let it sit there for a while.
Mm-hmm. It might reset.
Look at people teaching us about RealQuest, Jill.
Thank you
I love
very
it.
much. This is awesome. Well, our work is done.
Yep. Next time, I have a great acquisitions week, and we will be here at the exact same time next week. And Jill and I will be maybe sitting in the same room. We don't know yet. Thanks very much.
Thanks.
Next
Bye.
week.